Hi, Ethan. This is Nadia. First of all, can you tell us more about yourself, like where you're from and also where you're right now, what you're studying in Malaysia?
Yes, so obviously my name's Ethan. I'm from the UK originally, in Kent, just below London. And I've been in Malaysia for nearly 3 years. And I'm studying graphics, PE, and drama. Nothing really biology-wise, just listen, simple subjects. I came here with my parents because they're teachers, so I follow them around. Although Malaysia was the first country they picked, so I haven't been to any others. This is a new experience.
Yeah, definitely. How long have you been in Malaysia?
Almost 3 years, 2.5. This is the third year, I believe.
What was your experience when you first came to Malaysia? And how is it compared to right now after 3 years of staying in Malaysia?
The first time we came to Malaysia, we were in the middle of JB, Johor. And
Johor, yeah.
Yeah, when we first came here, we were like, okay, this is completely different. There's the paths are kind of broken. There's a guy just walking. It's like, what is going on? My little sister got sick day one as well, and then the apartments weren't clean, and so we're but like, oh no, what have we done? What have we done? But then after the first few weeks, after we moved out of there and got to the actual place where we're staying, it got much better experience. There's more people around. There was more people who were doing the same thing as us. We had something in common with them, and JB was like, it was quite nice because it has all like the local food and all the stuff. But then as soon as we moved to Cyberjaya, it's slightly more modern. There's not as much food courts as they do in JB. But my experience here now compared to when it first started is huge difference. Huge difference. It's so much better now. I've met so many amazing people here, and I want to continue being with those people.
I'm happy your experience ended up nicely and you had a great time in Malaysia. Besides the culture shock, is there any interesting stories that you ever faced in Malaysia, and how did you adapt with the new life in Malaysia?
Interesting. I'd say mainly when like my different ideas of groups of people, because in England you've got you've got a group called like chavs who or roadmen, and they're kind of like you kind of avoid. But here I remember once I went to a 7-Eleven and it looked like a group of chavs. I was like, Malaysia have them as well? I was doing my what I normally do. I was like precautious. I was like, okay. I was like, they're like, oh hello. I was like, oh, they're quite friendly. I was like, oh, in that case, then I started speaking to more people more often, and it's a much funnier environment. In terms of another interesting story, that's it. Actually, it's a random one, but like pets. Because in England you got hamsters, cats, dogs, birds, snakes, but here it was a phoenix fox. I was like, a phoenix fox? I'm like, so what? So that caught me completely off guard. So that's like more random. Oh, that caught me off guard. Apart from that, I've been a nice, good experiences, especially since I moved to Cyberjaya. Because especially school life here. When I first moved in JB, the school life was completely different. It's all like they're really, really focused on their academics. While in England, no one really cares. It's at least my school, no one really cares. It was just you kind of just mess about. It's all about sport. But here it's like full focus. So it was hard to communicate with people. But then I moved to Cyberjaya, and there was loads more people in the sixth form I'm staying at, and they're a lot more talkative. Some of them are actually more active. So they're still very, very study heavy, but it's much better here now. I've met way more better people, I'd say.
Cool. Maybe it's more international as well in a way. So another thing is why did you choose to stay in Malaysia and to continue your study there instead of, let's say, coming back to UK, for example, to do your university there?
Even before that, I've still had the choice of going back because my mum lives in England still. But for me, it's just the experience. I think it's better to I don't ever really plan on going back to England because I don't know, I've been there for most of my life, all my life already. So I might as well just keep going to different countries, exploring more countries. I think it's better that way. So going back to a country I already know, been and done that. So no, it's just the experience is just way better at that moment, really. Yeah, I just like how everything is just completely different from the people, the food, everything. Really, I don't know. Yeah.
And how's like the study experience there in your university? Like, did you meet a lot of international students? Like, where do they usually come from? I know a lot of Indonesians also study in Malaysia because like we're a neighboring country. So a lot of like other Southeast Asian students must be there as well in Malaysia.
I'd say from what I've been told by people in England, it's quite the same. I guess most stuff I do attend is still British curriculum, so it's still got some of the same level stuff. Yeah, I'd just say it's just a lot more focused than England anyway. But apart from that, they're quite similar. That might be because I go to a British curriculum high school, college, and yeah, it's probably all because of that. But yeah, so it's not really much difference in my opinion. It's all good, straightforward. It's down to your own independent attitude.
So, and just out of curiosity, are you like fluent in Bahasa Melayu right now after 3 years of staying there?
Hey, wait, in what? Sorry, say that again.
Bahasa Melayu?
What does that mean?
Oh, that's the language they use in Malaysia.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. As you can tell, I am not. As you can tell, I'm not. No, I am not. Even if I do try and learn a language, I might say something. They speak to me English anyway, so I'm like, but yeah, the only language I'm learning is Japanese, and then I want to learn Cantonese. But
cool.
Yeah, apart from that, no, I don't know any other language.
Yeah, because Malaysia is a pretty multicultural country, right? And they speak a lot of languages. Bahasa Melayu is one of it. And then people there definitely speak English, they speak Chinese. And then the Indians, they speak Tamil. So it's a pretty diverse situation.
Yeah.
Basically, after staying there in Malaysia and like move around a lot of time. So what do you think are the benefits of studying abroad, of living abroad?
The main benefit is the experience. You move to a country, especially if it's a different continent country, it's completely new, and it's a new experience that opens up more doors and more people and more cultures. It gets you just more, known to the world. Because the main selling point my parents tried to give me was just, it's a new experience. The best thing is Malaysia specifically. I've not had an argument with anyone at all. England has many. Everyone's kind. The food is amazing, and it's cheap, especially compared to England. It's very cheap compared to England. It's just a complete better opportunity. There's so much more because you learn of even some different jobs what aren't in some Western countries. You learn about it, and you might meet different people in that subject. And yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend it. Anyone, if you do it, do it, But yeah, it's a crazy experience and it's amazing. There'll be like ups and downs, but overall, it's the best.
So how far are you from graduation?
I am 1 year.
1 year? All right. So
yes.
Yeah, it's actually pretty soon. Like what's your plan after graduation then?
My plan after graduation is I am going to go to Japan with a friend of mine, and we're going to do language school there first for 6 months to learn the language fully. And then I don't know, I guess kind of see where it takes us. But there was there was a drama course we've seen there as well, which you might take, what gives you more into that industry. So yeah, the perfect plan would be go to Japan, 6 months language, get into that drama course, show up on Netflix. That's the ideal. So it's quite a simple plan, but it's very hard to achieve. But yeah, so by late this year should be hopefully in Japan learning the language. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Then because you are like a year away from graduation, then it means you do your studies during the pandemic, right?
Some of it. Yeah.
How's that like? Are you doing it online at the time?
Yeah, I had some of it online, which for me, I liked it because you just get to stay home. You just get to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, instead of like and get up and leave. And in my opinion, I loved it. obviously people are very mixed. Teachers
Yeah.
are more like, oh, no, I want to get into school. All students are like, nah. But then I guess different schools had different approaches.
Yeah.
Different countries, different approaches. Here it was quite serious and academic still, but then I know that some of my friends in England, all theirs were just messing about. No one showed up, nothing, because like there's no punishment really. Because if you're in school, obviously they'll be like, oh, okay, here's a punishment, but online they can't do anything. So
Yeah. That's
what
right.
I thought.
From all your stories, I think you have such a pleasant experience there in Malaysia. So if you have to rate your experience from 1 to 10, like how will it be and why do you choose that number as your experience?
7, maybe 8, because it's not 10 because you still have to leave a whole social network of friends and family in a country in order to go here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a new experience. But you do start, it's like a fresh canvas. No one knows you. You have nothing, you have no reputation. You just go there. It's like, oh, I'm here. So that's why it's a bit hard to get used to. And obviously, you got to get used to the culture, which that's why for the first like few months, it was more difficult. But that's why it's not a 10. But apart from that, as soon as you go through that first little section, that's it. You'll love it. You'll love it.
Right. So do you have any suggestions or tips that you'd like to share with the future international students? I mean, whether they are going to study in Malaysia or maybe they're going to study in UK or elsewhere, what's your suggestions and tips for them?
I would say keep an open mind, because depending where you're coming from, if you keep that closed mindset of my country did this or I did this in that school, you'll find it way harder to adapt, find people and so on. You need to have an open mind to take in some culture, take in some what different people have, and you just need to take it all in and learn as much as you can. I say just don't keep a closed mind, have a nice open mindset when you go to a new country to study.
Thank you so much for sharing your stories and also your experiences studying in Malaysia so far. So I hope everything goes well for you for the rest of your studies in Cyberjaya, and also maybe we'll see each other in Japan. So I hope that goes well over here in Japan.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for joining.